Hi there, this is Mark and Danica, and Craig in the background. And we're in her home. As you're back from, what's happening?
I was trying to show my home.
Oh, it's her home. There we go. And Craig! We don't have tuna, but we got
Feynman.
And we're doing the reading from the Golden Present Daily Inspirational Readings by Sri Swami Satchidananda. It's a little late, so there's a feeling of loopiness. But we're doing this. It's July 7th, and the topic is, you should be happy about that. If everything that comes from outside, money, friends, family, name, fame, were going to make you happy, there wouldn't be any need for churches, synagogues, spiritual centers, or religions. Nobody would need to read the Bible. Why? You would be happy with your money. You would be happy with your friends. Why would you need anything else? Therefore, all these things should make you unhappy. I'm sorry, it's a little hard-hearted to say this. Everything must ultimately cheat you and deceive you and hit you so hard that you turn back to God. And that's what will happen to a sincere seeker. That's God's will.
In a way, when people are not ready to realize God, they will even be tempted to go out and chase things. And they will be given that piecemeal happiness here and there. When people find real pleasure in the world outside, it shows that God is not in a hurry to get them. It's true. If God is in a hurry to get you, He will make you displeased with everything outside very soon. If you look at the life history of the saints, you will find that the minute they become God conscious, they got into all kinds of problems, suffering after suffering, suffering after suffering. Why? God says, you wanted me. You should come quickly to me, so I will make everybody hit you so that you come to me soon. So don't feel bad if it happens to you. You should be happy about that.
And don't have a cow, man.
Little goofy, like he said in the beginning.
You should be happy about that. Well, I like that it sort of took a little curveball in there, and that it's that idea of thinking that you're going to be happy because of all these things. That's sort of what we are sold.
Yeah, what we're seeking after is this false sense of happiness.
Yeah, and it's endless, with how it's marketed and targeted to our brains to think that that's what makes us happy. So it can be really hard to loosen the grip of that, to realize that's actually not the source. And it may come in a painful way at times, like Swami Satchidananda saying, everything must ultimately cheat you and deceive you, which is painful to hear. But
maybe encouraging though. Maybe if you're in a place where you're like, why is everything so hard? Why me? Why does everything have to be so difficult? And it's saying essentially that God is in a hurry to get you to realize Him, whatever God is, right? So it could be whatever that thing is that's going to propel you to your version of enlightenment, say.
Like universal.
Your version of connection.
Yeah.
To a higher part of yourself, to a higher part of something bigger than you, you know. But I kind of like it. I kind of like it. It feels encouraging for someone who's saying, "Oh, everything's just so difficult." And it's interesting. I'd like to read this. I was just talking with my mom. I was in Chicago visiting my parents, and my mom was saying something similar. Like, "Gosh, I'm always struggling."
You
with
were.
this.
Your mom was.
My mom was.
Oh.
And I'm struggling, and she's like, "Why?" And I was like, "Well, we struggle until we look within, She was like, "I don't know." She kind of, she understood,
That's
she doesn't,
cool.
She has a whole different life than
right.
I do, which is totally okay. But it was an interesting conversation we were having, and this would be a sweet thing to read to her. Maybe God's after you, and you're just not hearing it, That's what I mean when I say it feels encouraging.
I think that's great. It's a way of, so much of how we show up for things is our perspective. When one moment you can have one kind of perspective that makes you feel like, everything's all is lost,
Mm-hmm.
and then someone can shift it around, and you can realize, oh wow, this is actually like perfect right as it is.
Yeah.
And how many times have we gone through that where a friend or somebody has helped us do that, and then just that perspective shift helps you move through it. So I like that's what this is here, and you can offer that to your mom or to a friend who's speaking that way, because we all go through that, right? There's always going to be those moments where we just feel like, what the heck?
Yeah. I just think it's great. Everything must ultimately cheat you and deceive you and hit you so hard that you turn back to God. And I've been, super cheated, super deceived, and it totally
hit really hard.
Totally took me right to the feet of God. I mean, in my opinion, in my experience, in the way my mind works, I was like,
It's that moment of surrender that you become willing, because otherwise, like it's saying in here, we're willing to hang on to all our other vices or those pleasures because we think those are kind of keeping us just tapped into some illusion long enough that we're not.
It's distracting.
Yeah, we're not able to hear, but.
Yeah. I mean, when I was in my worst bouts of grief, which we all have, it's just part of being a human being. I wasn't thinking about shopping or how much money I was making, or, I was thinking about how do I, like you said, surrender. How do I move through? How do I get closer to my own spiritual being? How do I, those were the things. I wasn't like, I know what I'll do, I'll go shopping. It's like that wasn't at all what I was interested in.
You're so like
you just so I like how it's saying it must ultimately cheat you and deceive you, and it's basically like hitting rock bottom, right?
Don't you think too? Some people could take it the other side and they become bitter and unhappy and jaded and angry, and then their life is that. Yeah. So how is it that yours was able to surrender into it versus to turn it into this always happens to me. And I'm never going to get.
Yeah. I don't know exactly why that happened. I don't know. I can't ever say. I always feel really lucky that it's drawn me to a more positive place.
Because of having a practice?
Yeah, I think
somehow tapped into something that.
Yeah. I think I was inspired by the spiritual practice, and then nothing else got in the way of it. Or stuff got in the way of it, but then I always got. Like I always was like, oh, I don't like it.
Yeah.
I want to go back to what I know.
Yeah.
I think early on, too, somebody said something to me like, life is really painful. It's super painful. No matter what, whether you choose a spiritual practice and you figure out a way to have, joy and it was joy, not happiness. It was like whether you can find joy even in the worst moments. You can find joy, but happiness is like a little bit more elusive, But they were like, so why not choose the thing that brings you to your higher self? If you're going to be in pain anyway, why not go about it in a way that's going to get you somewhere better? Because otherwise, if you choose the bitterness, then it's just like
there's
endless pain.
Endless pain.
At least if you choose the pain plus the positivity.
Yeah,
and that was right. It was right because.
Yeah.
I still, we go through painful things, and it's kind of like,
Well, over time, you start to collectively, you can recognize that there's a way out.
Yeah.
From having seen yourself go through this before.
Yeah. Or sometimes you're in it and you're just like, it's hard right now.
Yeah. It doesn't grab you like it used to. It won't be always.
Yeah. That part of that is age, but you just know, you own that, but.
Yeah.
But, or, because, for some people, it's just hard right now. But the opposite is what you're saying. Like, it's hard always.
It's a story we create. Yeah. And it's sometimes hard to break that story, but. Having some kind of a tool like a daily reading or a daily affirmation, I think can be something that helps to just reorient and add that into the mix rather than just adding more of what you think is happening, adding more to that story. Bring in something that has some kind of affirmation.
Yeah. No, like if it's gonna be hard anyway, why not just enjoy it?
Right?
Do you know what I mean? Like it's hard anyway, so just find all the things that make you laugh in between it all, right?
Exactly.
Find good people.
Watch good things.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks for watching this, and I hope you are having a good start to your weekend. Thank you so much for
Thank you
being
so
part of this
much.
with me, and we'll see you another time soon. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, bye. Such strength to carry on, and you finally see the truth that